coming back to finish my point of don't become the counterfeit, if you come into this relationship, I love the fact that Christina Bowl for Christ did a word where she talked about the fact that these men are going to love you for who you are naturally, okay? So if you believe that these men have been watching you all this time anyway, then why would you go and get into this marriage just because of maybe where they are or where you know that they have been, that you would go in and start trying to change your appearance to match where they were, where they've been, or where you think that they will want you to be? The man's with you because he's with you for what he saw, not for where he was. There's a reason he's not with the counterfeit. So, if you're the type of person that in your lax time, maybe you wear your actual natural hair out in its own natural afro state, why are you going to go flat press your hair and sit up there and put on fake nails and fake lashes if that's not who you are? There are other people I listen to. That is what make them feel comfortable. If that's what makes them feel comfortable, that's what makes them feel comfortable. I know I like to put in lock extensions and braids. Why? Because it's a protective style. I got natural hair. So yes, you've seen me with these protective styles in. It keeps my hands out of my hair. I'm having my feelings right about now because my hair is looking a little nappy. Okay? I'm in an in-between stage. So your spouse is going to get used to who you are in your natural state. Okay? But you also have to have levels to this. Meaning, maybe I'm talking about you. You might put you might file your nails down on a natural day, on a regular day, just the average day that you at home, you have your nails filed down. Maybe the best thing that you do on a natural average day is you go get you some Sally Hansen and put Sally Hansen sticky nail polish on your fingernail, just to give them a little pizzazz. Maybe for me, I do Bantu knots. When I have nothing else to do with my hair and I want to wash my hair, I just put in Bantu knots. It's the easiest style I can put in. And put on a little bit of lipstick. Maybe I put on my headband, whatever it is. Pull my Bantu knots down, have whatever. Your spouse is going to get used to you being that way. So why are you going to sit up there and go put on a wig, weave, all this kind of stuff if that's not who you are? And he's going to know that if he's been keeping an eye on you. A lot of your spouses have been doing that. They like you for you. Why you want to become something different? If you're a little bit of a updo, or if you're going out terms, is maybe I put in my locks on my braids. If I want to make it fancy, I put beads on my locks or beads on my braids. You've seen it. If I really want to get fancy, I'll do a completely different color. You've seen me do red. You've even seen me do chestnut. So you have to have that fullness of understanding of what your thing is, and your spouse is going to know that. But don't become something that you aren't to try to fit in with what you think that he wants. Because that's another way you'll become the counterfeit. Because you will try to mirror what they did, and funny enough, they were trying to mirror you. You see how that worked? You see how that worked? Coming right back around to the mimic spirit. So be very careful. Coming back to the pregnancy thing, understand that you're going to have mood swings. You're going to deal with emotions. And then when you're dealing with the hormonal trials that come directly after pregnancy, because think about this. I did a video series, but it's on one of my other channels where I talk about after birthing. And after you birth, there are 4 things that you may have to deal with immediately after birth. It's going to mess with your mood, your hormones. After the placenta comes out, you have 9 months of hormones that's going to come out with you. Then you're going to have, if you had a C-section, then you got a cut on you that you're dealing with. So you got to heal from that. Aside from just having to heal from those 6 weeks of having to push a baby out of you. And then you're bleeding for 6 weeks and you're dealing with the hormones of bleeding for 6 weeks. So I'm pretty sure you're going to be dealing with those emotional mood swings that you was dealing with during the pregnancy for 6 more weeks. And then, oh yeah, you got to take care of them babies. You tired, you're hungry. In some cases, you might actually be horny. Don't be yelling at your spouse because of that. You have to keep track of these things. And this is something that's going to keep coming back around as many times as you lay down with that man and get pregnant. It's going to come back up again and come back up again. And then when you re-regulate after having the kids, if you don't have another child immediately after, because some people have children get pregnant again within 3 months, and you take some time, when your periods get back to their regulation flow, you're going to be back to dealing with that once a month for 1 week, acting like a daggone fool because you emotionally, this is why God was trying to regulate you. And we just talked about the hormones. So I'm going to need you to get that under control right now. Get it in your mind, get it in your head, get it in your heart. These are potential things that could come in and try to mess up your marriage because you're not acting like yourself. Because when do you ever act like yourself during that week? Ever. You're like 2 different people. And God wants you to get yourself together now, start to track your mood. I want you to seriously sit down right now. I'm going to need you to do this. Listen to me very carefully. Write down and track the things that you feel emotionally, mentally, go through physically, how you act and interact with people socially, mood swings, all of this from your time of the month. I'm talking about the lightest experience to your heaviest experience. I'm not talking about flow. I'm talking about actual mood, actual experience. I need you to go get you a journal. Go get you a planner. You know that I think, if I'm not mistaken, they have period planners or something like that. I'm going to need you to go get one of those so that you can track all that kind of stuff so that you have the understanding. Because guess what? A lot of y'all sitting up there praising Jesus for these marriages. But guess what? Second you get up in there, when you and that man get up in that bed and you... Don't be surprised. Salt 144 says, wouldn't be surprised if you got pregnant right away. Trust and obedience, wouldn't be surprised if you got pregnant right away. Dana Ray, wouldn't be surprised if you got pregnant right away. Some of these men ain't even going to see how you are just on a regular balanced level because you ain't going to be that way for very long. Your emotional balanced mood swings are going to be all over the place, potentially immediately, because if you get pregnant right away, that's what he's going to see. He's going to see you going into pregnancy mode. And you don't even act like that on average. But here comes your time of the month. So I'm going to need for you to check yourself, okay? Because if you don't check yourself, you're going to have this man sitting up here thinking, I just married somebody that's an identical to what I just walked away from. And it's not that they did. It's a scenario of You are reflecting false evidence that appears real because you mood swing because you're pregnant. You mood swing because if you don't have your emotions under wraps, there you go. So I hope this blessed you. But God really sat on me to have me do this today because He was like, yeah, there's something that needs to be discussed. And a lot of y'all don't know. Because a lot of y'all don't think about this. I've touched on it here. I've touched on it here. I've touched on it here. God made me sit down and touch on it again. Because obviously somebody needs to hear this. Because if you do not pay attention to this, y'all gonna get in these marriages and put your foot in your mouth. Or how they like to say, shoot off your foot. You be sitting up there arguing and wondering why you angry at each other, and then you dealing with moodiness and he's dealing with moodiness, and y'all sitting up there like, but I thought we got married because we were a perfect match for each other, and this seems like hell. What is this? Remember, a blessing before you ready for it is gonna feel like a curse. If you ain't mentally prepared for this, that's one of the reasons why God kept you out of it. Because you wasn't thinking about this stuff. So I hope this blessed you. I hope this made you really think. Because if you ain't got this stuff under control, baby, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be in a lot of trouble. And you're going to be sitting up there crying, whining, and in confusion. This is why I believe this video is going to come up just before we go into I Think I Love My Wife. And that review is going to show you why you need to get yourself together. Because you do not want your man's eyes wandering. And don't think Satan not going to test. Let me test it. Let me see. Let me see for a minute. Would he be willing to jump over here if the opportunity was placed before? Especially if you start acting funny. Don't become the counterfeit. Okay? And just for purpose of understanding, do go read Love and Respect. It's an audiobook. Look for it in Audible. Very good book. Because I think it's Edward Eckrich or somebody that wrote that book. The first few chapters depict all this. Don't become that woman. Too many marriages I heard in that book. This is exactly what happened. Check in with God. Check in with yourself. Make sure you're in the right head space, heart space, and posture. So that's all I had to say. I think I pretty much covered it. So until next time, much love, faith, peace, and blessings to you. Till next time.